Hi, this is Clay Hayes with TwistedStave.com and Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, coming to you from north central Idaho and bringing you another episode of Backcountry College. When I'm out hunting, I always carry with me enough paracord and a couple of carabiners to make a block and tackle. What we're going to talk about today is hanging your groceries in bear country, but a block and tackle, they come in really handy. You know, sometimes when you're out, especially if you're by yourself, and you shoot an elk or a big animal, they can be downright impossible to move. But if you've got one of these, if you've got the stuff to make a block and tackle, you can attach that to a leg or an antler or wherever you can get a hold to, and pull that animal over into a position where you can get in there and do what you need to do as far as gutting and quartering. You can use a block and tackle like this to hang quarters or even a whole animal in the field if you needed to. As well as hanging groceries in bear country. So let's take a look at how we do it. Now we're going to use about 100 feet of paracord, 3 carabiners, and a little bit of muscle power. The advantage that you've got with a block and tackle system like this versus just throwing a line over a branch and just pulling straight up is there's a lot of friction on that line. When you try to throw a line up over a branch and pull a bag up like that, it's pretty doggone hard if you've got any weight at all in that bag. Especially without somebody else helping you push the bag up while you pull down. You can do it that way, but it's real hard to get it over about 7 feet, and that's not going to be high enough, especially if you're in grizzly country. I've got 2 different lines here, your suspension line and your pull line or your lift line. They're about 50 feet each. First thing I'm going to do is take one of these carabiners and clip it on my bag right from the pull point. Next thing I'm going to do is I've got a loop tied into the end of one of my ropes. The other 2 carabiners are going to go right on here, just like that. Now this one goes up over your branch and back down. I'll take a rock or a heavy stick or something like that and tie around it just to give yourself a little bit of weight and help it to get back down through the branches. Alright, so I've got my suspension line up over the branch and back down. Got a couple of carabiners on it, and then I've got my other one right here. So what we're going to do now is take the pull line and attach it to the lift tab with a bowline knot, and I'll show you how to tie that a little bit later. This knot's really good because you can put a whole bunch of pressure on it and still get it undone really easily. So at the farthest away from you that you can get your bowline knot, then we're going to come up, go through our first carabiner, come back, go down, go through the one on the bag, back up through the second carabiner, and that's about it. Now there's one more thing that we want to do before we take our suspension line and pull it up, and that's take the tag end of your lift line here and attach it with a slip knot so that when I pull up my suspension line, I'm not going to pull the tag end of this one up through the carabiners and then have to do it all over again. It's important to not have these lines crossed back and forth because the more they cross, the more they twist, just puts more friction into it, makes it harder to lift. So we'll go ahead and take the suspension line and lift it up. And then we'll take this and go attach it to a secure branch or tree over here. And then we'll go ahead and undo this, the tag end of the lift line, and pull the bag up. Now that I've got my suspension line up here, run over and tight and tied to the tree over here, I'm going to go ahead and undo my pull line, get a good hold to it, and just start walking back, and that'll pull this bag straight up. Now, one of the downsides of paracord is it's got a lot of stretch, and it can be kind of hard on your hands because the diameter is so small. I like it because it's light and it packs easy.
But if you can get away with the weight, if you can afford the extra weight, 3/8 nylon rope will make things a little bit easier on you. You need to get your bag about 10 feet up off the ground, about 4 feet out from the trunk of the tree, and about 4 feet down from the branch that it's hanging from. If you can't find a tree with a big nice branch where you can get your bag out, you can use your lift line to pull your bag out away from the tree. The knot I use most often is called a bowline. You start off by putting a little loop in it, then you take your tag in, come back in from underneath, go around your main line, and then back through the loop that you created. With this knot, you can put a tremendous amount of pressure on it and still get it undone really easily.